The fire is fading, the world is decaying, and as the bells toll, the Lords of Cinder rise once more. But this time, they refuse to link the flame. So the question is asked, will this be the end of the Age of Fire? Dark Souls 3 centers itself around this exact idea. As the bells ring, your character rises. You play as the Ashen One, an undead who once tried and failed to link the flame. You did not become a Lord of Cinder. You were burned away and forgotten. Because of this failure, you are known as Unkindled. The world now fading, Prince Lothric, next in line to link the flame, has refused his duty. He believed the Age of Fire should end and that an Age of Darkness should take its place. In response, the previous Lords of Cinder are resurrected, dragged back from their graves to fulfill their role once again. But they also refuse to link the flame. And I believe that refusal comes from exhaustion, from the realization that linking the flame doesn't fix the world. It only delays collapse. The cycle continues endlessly, not improving anything, only maintaining what little remains. This is where the Ashen One comes in. We are the last resort, a character who has already failed, given one final chance. And if the Lords of Cinder won't return to their thrones willingly, then we must bring them back by force. We defeat them, collect their ashes, and return them to their thrones in Firelink Shrine. Right from the start, Dark Souls 3 gives the player a very clear goal, the most straightforward in the series. Defeat the Lords of Cinder. Link the flame. You rise and begin your journey to Firelink Shrine.
Iudex Gundyr.
Shortly after awakening, you encounter Iudex Gundyr, a warrior who was once meant to link the flame himself, but failed before he ever had the chance. Now he stands as a judge, blocking the path forward, testing those who rise. To progress, we must defeat him and claim his coiled sword. I won't spoil who originally defeated Gundyr. I think that's something worth discovering on your own. Genuinely, I think it's one of the cooler lore moments in the game. Once Gundyr falls, his coiled sword allows us to light the bonfire at Firelink Shrine. Just like that, we have our hub area.
Firelink Shrine.
Firelink Shrine in Dark Souls 3 has become my favorite hub area in the entire series, dethroning Majula from Dark Souls 2. Like Majula, it grows with you. It has everything you'll need, a blacksmith, merchants, your firekeeper, and additional NPCs that join as your journey progresses. You also return to the firekeeper to level up, something I had forgotten from my brief experience with Dark Souls 3 before this, and something I originally thought was unique to Dark Souls 2. But the design of this Firelink Shrine is what really sold it for me. Majula was beautiful, it felt like home, but as soon as I stepped foot inside Firelink and I saw the thrones, I felt like the tone was set. Early on, I explored each throne, reading the inscriptions on their back, each throne bearing the name of a Lord of Cinder that we are tasked with defeating. After each victory, you return and place their ashes upon these thrones. The thrones loom above the firekeeper, accessible by the steps behind them, giving the shrine the feeling of an audience chamber. And every time I stood up from the bonfire, directly beneath those massive seats, it reminded me how small our character really is. We are standing beneath legends.
Combat comparison.
For my first full playthrough, I ran a strength build, using the Claymore, which honestly felt like a return to form for me. Even with a heavier weapon, combat remained quick and responsive. The enemy's tracking ability is also much stronger than in previous entries. You can't simply circle enemies and fish for easy backstabs anymore. This was something I already noticed changes to in Dark Souls 2, but it's even more refined here. Despite the faster pace and improved enemy behavior, I honestly feel Dark Souls 3 is the easiest game in the trilogy from a combat perspective, both in standard areas and in boss encounters.
Bosses.
And speaking of bosses, overall, they were fantastic. I I enjoyed almost every boss fight in this game. That said, some of these bosses definitely could have been tuned to be more challenging. The Deacons of the Deep and High Lord Wolnir, for example, were extremely easy. My favorites were easily the Abyss Watchers and the final boss of the game. The Abyss Watchers fight is always a spectacle, chaotic, cinematic, and punishing, until you really understand the timing. And the final boss, without spoiling anything, is just incredible. An evolving moveset, escalating tension, and a real test of everything you've learned. I died to that boss more than any other, but learning each phase and finally getting that win felt earned.
Callbacks and world design.
I'm incredibly glad I played the trilogy in order from Dark Souls 1 through 3, because Dark Souls 3 is filled with many callbacks, familiar locations, themes, characters, and familiar ideas appear everywhere. The world feels like an amalgamation of the past, once great places collapsing in on themselves as time stretches thin. You see the effects of decay, not just in environments, but also in people. Andre the Blacksmith returns from Dark Souls 1, and another familiar face meets a far sadder fate, which I won't spoil. Dark Souls 3 also fully embraces teleportation between bonfires, much like Dark Souls 2. Unlike in Majula, I didn't find a direct physical path connecting Firelink Shrine to the rest of the world. And honestly, that makes sense. To me, it feels like the first flame itself is desperately fighting extinction, resurrecting champions from different eras, ringing the bells to revive the fallen ones like the Ashen One. These heroes come from different times and places, connected only by fire. Bonfires and firekeepers become the thread that ties everything together. We teleport because time itself is fractured, and we're gathering the souls of past legends to continue the cycle one last time. For a series that leaves so much open to interpretation, this is an incredible evolution of its world and themes.
My final thoughts.
I don't want this video to drag on, but this trilogy is absolutely worth your time. If you've never played Dark Souls, or even a Souls-like, these games challenge you in a way few others do. They reshape how you think about success. There are no participation trophies here, only earned victories. The challenges feel real, and so does the accomplishment. There's also enough build variety to change your approach if you're stuck, and an incredibly passionate community willing to help when you need it. I'm thankful these games succeeded the way they did, because however you find them, the cycle of fire connects all of us who link the flame. If you're playing this for the first time, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you've already linked the flame, I'd love to hear your stories. And if any of my videos inspire you to try this series, I truly want to know. We're all alone and together in this world, just like Dark Souls. So lay down those summon signs, help a stranger, and don't be afraid to keep trying. Sometimes looking at things from a different angle leads to a new path, and that beats turning back at every roadblock. Don't go hollow. Embrace the greatness you already have within. Okay, that's starting to sound like a car commercial now, so thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.